Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another exciting review by George. Today we're going to talk about the SOG Creed knife. Okay, so I've been really excited about this one. I really like the shape of this knife. As you can see, it's really awesome. Anyways, as usual, the knife review we'll skip the first part where all these specifications, which you can just read off my description on the video, and we're going to jump into the review. Today we're going to make this one a slightly special one because the SOG knives, like the Creed knife as well as the SOG Trident 2.0, which I previously reviewed, are both sharing some of the very common features like they usually have for their knives. So you can see these two knives both made by SOG, having very similar handle shape, and the blade design is different, but the thickness is the same, and much of the structure is the same. This one has a Makato handle. Anyways, the point I'm trying to make is today's review will only cover the difference that makes this one separate from the other one. And if you're looking for anything that's same for both of the knives, I've highlighted these points basically, so you can just have a look at what it says here, and if you don't understand it, you can watch my other video on the SOG 2.0 Trident. Anyways, we're going to talk about what makes this knife different from the other one, as well as what is my opinion of it. Anyways, so start off, it's got a very unique, very interesting shape for it, because you can see it's actually it's like a sword looking knife. This knife has a very huge broad side over here near the front of the knife, and it tapers down to a very narrow point, so it looks very intimidating and yet very special. It's got also a fuller as well, so the tip is actually quite strong. It tapers on very fine in here, but it's much thicker in here. So it's pointy as well as strong, and it's got a very huge belly here for slicing as well as chopping, and the forward weight here is actually sort of over here. It's got a very huge chunk of steel, so it actually encourages you to actually do a lot of chopping with it. And there is a fuller here on both sides just to reduce the weight. If you don't know what a fuller is, there's the groove here here to actually reduce the weight a little bit, and some people probably call it blood groove. Really, I don't see too much difference either way. The fuller is usually slightly narrow. Anyways, and this one different from the other one. It's got like a rubber handle. It's actually Kraton, but this, from the lighting, you won't be able to see it. There's actually slight texturing. It's like a diamond-shaped texturing on it to actually increase grip, and combine the fact that it's actually made of Kraton, which is very rubbery material. It's actually an improvement over the previously reviewed SOG 2.0 knife, which is made of a Makato handle. And if you watch the video, I've discussed how I didn't really like the shape of the handle, but this one is, in my opinion, is better. The grooves actually fall in the right places, as you can see. So sheath strap is actually better than the 2.0 as well. Here's the sheath for this knife, and actually I'm going to talk about the negative point of the sheath, but it's a bit of a mission to put this thing in and out. So we'll put this in. It's pretty hard to put it in because of a plastic button here, which I'll discuss later. It's quite a pain in the ass to put in, but once you get in there, the sheath is, in a way, is more secure. Let's just see if we can get it. Come on. Okay. It's more secure because this loop actually goes over the handguard, so it's pretty hard for it to fall out by accident. Anyways, back to the knife itself. and it has a leg strap, hole. So over here it's actually you can put a paracord through this, and while you hang this on your belt, and you can strap this side on your leg, and it will provide you extra comfort while walking, hiking, or anything. Anyways, like I said, over here all that stuff is covered in the previous reviewed video. Just look it up in my channel, the SOG Trident 2.0. Otherwise, you can just read the knife's video description. Now down to the negative points, which is also quite a few. It's not a perfect knife. Now, first of all, there's this button here. Just now you saw how hard it is actually to put the knife into the sheath. The reason is that there is as you can see, there's like a shiny bit. It's really, really dark, so you won't be able to see very clearly, but the shiny bit is where the button actually, this button on the other side is not flush with the surface of the leather. So when you put the knife in, this thing is taking about half of the width of this little whatever space it's got in here for the knife. And this knife is this no thin knife. It's 1/4 inch steel. You put that in, and it's actually really just scratching the knife. Luckily, that button there is actually plastic material, so it's not going to scratch the knife, but it's going to make it quite hard to push it in and out. The knife has got oil on it, but you can see there's like a scratch line in there, starting from here. So that's just really quite annoying to me. I don't know why they use plastic button in there, and I don't know why the plastic button is not flush with the leather either. I think plastic is probably a bit weak, so they made it quite thick, but that's just insane to me. Why would you put such a thing in there that's not really not helping with the ease of the knife being drawn or pushed in. Anyways, the sheath has some stitches. It's not actually finished very well. It's mostly on the back here. It's just, you can see where the termination is, and it's got a it just looks like it's about to burst open just that bit. I think that's where maybe the stitch actually ends or starts. So that's like slight quality issue in my opinion. And there is actually just while we are on the quality issue, the handle here is not completely flush with the pommel, but it's in my opinion, that's just like, really the overall quality of this knife is much better than most of the other knives you get in the market. For the price point, of course, you do pay for it, but this is, I'm nitpicking really. And the other thing is, this knife you can't carry it upside down. There's not an option for it to be strapped upside down, and certainly with knife of this weight, you push it into the leather sheath and expect to be carried upside down, and if say you didn't strap the strap in, it would be a little bit risky for the knife to fall out and probably smash your foot, or if it doesn't penetrate it. Anyways, now the other thing is that the blade strap is hard to fit around the knife. I previously demonstrated you can sort of struggle and push the knife in there, and without cutting sort of that button there, and you put it through, and annoying thing is, well, this time we actually got the position right, but the knife, you can see, because it's so narrow here and the sheath is much wider, you have to play around sometimes to actually get it in the right angle to actually, all right, there we go, to actually fit it through the. Yeah, this is getting quite a little bit annoying. there we go. So that's the problem. Like you struggle a little bit. Now we move on to other things we haven't covered. There's a couple of positive points that I think, just based on my speculations, is potential good things about the knife. This knife come actually in this oil coating, so I can wipe it off, but I haven't really been bothered to. But like I do know SOG do a very, very glossy finish on their blades, on the satin finish, at least, you know, this knife, and the SOG Trident 2.0 is concerned. That's very, very reflective. In the summer day or something, the sun is high, you can use this as a signaling mirror, okay? So in emergency, you can use it to signal. Negative things based on speculations. Now, you can see this unique shape of the knife. Over here it's very, very narrow, over here it's very wide. Just how narrow it is, really, if you compare it with this knife here. It's in fact like, I think that knife, oh sorry, the SOG knife Creed over here is actually no wider than the SOG Trident. They're almost the same width, but the point is this knife has a much heavier head. So basically you're almost using it as a hammer over here. So it's got a lot of forward weight, and I think with that sort of expectation, you probably end up chopping down some trees and things, and think it's all gonna be all right. But there is a couple of things you could notice. Over here, the hollow grind they have done is very, very, very high. It's all the way like past midpoint. So that actually makes this knife sort of weak around this region, because the only thick part is the spine, of course, and tapers down maybe over here, and like around the edge is very, very thin. This thing's like made to actually cut through cut through material very well. So the ground is very, very thin, and I do worry about it. That's actually a weak point. And of course, I previously mentioned the pommel here. It's got like a red tail tang design as well. So those are the things that I sort of feel like, man, like this knife was built to such a high quality and everything very impressive, but they've made some obvious mistakes there. Other things is over here, if you can see the screws on the back where the SOG's Creed knife is. The screw is actually looking a little bit thinner than even the Trident, which is a slightly smaller knife, which doesn't make sense, because a bigger knife should, in my opinion, have a bigger tail, bigger tang in the back, just to make sure it's strong. Anyways, otherwise the leather strap is overall, in my opinion, it's like, it's a slightly improvement over this guy, because that one is like so loose. Like the tolerance, if here is like slightly off, the knife can actually come off. Whereas that, in a way, it's like once it secures the knife, it's quite tight, but it's just, there's actually two narrower pieces of leather to hold this knife in. So I think in time, leather swells or deteriorates. It could be like a weak point where it could break on either side. So that's the problem here I potentially see. Otherwise, I really do think this is a cool knife to own and to collect, and also use it as a weapon. It should not fail you. It should perform quite well, but perhaps survival or sort of hard use against, say, a very huge tree limb. I've seen people chopping this thing, chopping like wood down with knives like this, actually just exactly like this. Is SOG Creed, and the screws on the back is just sort of gone loose. Anyways, that's my conclusion of the review, and I will upload the description of the video soon with all the information you just saw. And I hope you enjoyed it, and have a good time. I'll see you next time.